It's kind of weird. Is it on? Is the camera on? Feels like a cartoon character or something. It's very fuzzy. I feel weird holding this. Okay. Testing. All right. I want to go around the shop, and we got a lot of projects that the guys are working on. And, oh wait, I just started talking, didn't I? So, all right, intro. This is Jason with Fender Garage. We're here in Gilbert, Arizona. You probably already know that already. But anyways, I want to do a little shop tour. We're gonna go take a look at a few projects. This is a Friday, so it's kind of a quieter, lower employee ratio out here. Some of the guys like to come work on Fridays just because it is a little bit quieter. Some guys are working Fridays because they want to be on overtime. They like that too. Some of them just want to come here, work, and get more crap done, right? So all different reasons. We're gonna go around and talk to some people. We got some cool projects. We can kind of do some little updates on a few projects. So follow me. We're gonna go see Roman. Roman. We caught you.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey, can you use your sexy voice?
My wife might get jealous.
Okay, all right. I think that means he doesn't have a sexy voice, but hey, tell us what you're working on.
72 Bronco, just trying to get the grill on there. Just got the lock assembly, the low car hood release cable adjusted and set in there, the latch. Just trying to button it up and try and get it going.
Yeah.
You know, trying to make a final push and before the other ones get out of the paint and body, and just trying not to be too stressed down the road.
February, you're like, I'm hoping to have this thing running, driving, done at the end of March.
Correct.
You did say that, right?
I did. I'm sure I did.
I think you did say that.
I think 2 weeks before SEMA last year when we were building Howard's truck, I made a outrageous comment saying I wanted to get it done then. I was like, if you want a real SEMA crunch, let's start now.
Oh, yeah. All right, so this is a pretty sweet Bronco. We have everything. Is there anything we've missed in this thing? Because there's everything.
Anything and everything, recovery, safety, spare parts, tools, equipment, you know, anything and everything is probably equipped on this vehicle.
All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about what's underneath the hood here. We've got a Gen 3 Whipple supercharger, and we've got some really cool billet valve covers. JC manufacturing, yeah. So he's been working on these a long time, and they're beautiful. I think they're like $3,500 if I know the retail price. When you realize how much time he put into these things and how much machining time and drawing, he'll be lucky to make any money for a few months, you know, selling those things. He's got a lot to recoup. Unfortunately for us, with the steering and the Hydro Boost setup, it was a little bit tight, and so we had to make a little notch in the back, but we had to clearance a little piece right there. A Gen 3 Coyote motor in a Gen 1 Bronco supercharged is tough. But hey, tell us why this battery's sideways.
I don't know, just clean it up, secure it, access it just to where the battery cables come out through the side. That way it looks a little more clean running down the back. 2 of these power cables go to the inside of the vehicle. Another one comes outside through a bulkhead and runs down and through a channel all the way to the rear battery.
All right, and we're tight on space with everything in here. That look, we even had to mount the horns on the side. Not ideal, but you know, these are the AC lines. Are we Cerakoting those, or
no? He wanted the stainless. So.
These stainless. Okay.
Yep.
So one thing about this build is that the customer very involved. Would you say?
Very involved. You know, wants to know everything. He actually called me this morning and we were talking about the emblems, if he wanted the chrome original ones or the black ones. Or his wife wanted the chrome, he wanted the black to match all the rest of the emblems. And then we switched it last second. We want to put the black on there, but you know.
Did you put the black on it?
I did put the black on there.
I saw chrome on it earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually do like the black better. All right. That makes sense. And then that big winch goes here. So we have for power, there's like winch and then also
it's got a monster compressor in the rear. Right? With another Viair compressor for the air lockers and a tank underneath. We actually added a little capacitor in the back and a standalone relay just to so it doesn't spike the rear battery for the compressor itself.
So we got another battery in the back as well. So, all right, we'll walk around a little bit. These are some rock sliders we didn't make. I think the owner made these with his dad a long time ago. So this has been a father-son project for probably 30 years or more. That they've been messing around with this and doing stuff. They've done it twice before, and then they decided they want to do one more time with this Bronco and rebuild it. They literally have gone all the way. Like, it's crazy. They built these, we're maintaining these. We got some cool little doors that go here, but they're just like a tubular doors that go on here. Very, very open and still accessible. We actually got a speaker that goes right here, and so we're building a box that goes right here, and we'll put it on there and install it. But we had to push the speaker through the actual inside here. We're out, again, we are that tight on space. There's no room. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 speakers built into this thing. 10. And one monster 1,000-watt amp. It's huge. It's like a gazelle when he jumped up there. Let's see if we can see it. Is it fold? Look at it. Check it out.
Moscone 1,000-watt amp, 5-channel amp. This thing's definitely pull some power. This thing's impressive for sure. It's got vents on the side. It has a little cover panel in case you wanted to leave the seat up and we can actually put stuff on there.
I didn't know we made that. Come to the back and I'll show you a couple things. So he's got 2 jerry cans that fit back here. Of course, he's got a full-size 40-inch spare that we had to make. He's got his off-road jack. He's got an extra front drive shaft in case things go really south. There's his compressor. There's the capacitor. There's the battery in the back. In this section here, we have also built and designed. Need that down? All right. What else you want me to do? Want me to get you a snack lunch later? All right. So we also built and designed 2 13-inch JBLs that fit back here, and then a Yeti cooler that sits up on top. That is still yet to go in here. And when I say it's tight, we have we're 1/8 of an inch clearances on a lot of this stuff. 4 8-inch wet sounds that go in the back here into the quarter panels, and so those are all ready to probably go back in pretty soon. All the upholstery's done. We made a super cool top for it. A nice bimini top, super awesome. So we're close. I'd say we're 98% done wiring maybe? Yeah, we're super close. Put the dash in, a few little things, and that really is it. We can start bolting some stuff on it and be done. We actually, on the speaker box, we'll show you at another time, it goes back here. We actually have it to where it can tilt out, so if you really needed to get into this stuff, you can. You can access it through the speaker box. Going to be bedline to match, so it's durable, it's waterproof, and well protected, and holds the sound well. So anyways, oh yeah, here it is. Check it out. You can access things through it. A little storage place right here. The JL subs will be here, and then ice chest will sit on top of here. We actually had to port all that so we could share airspace, and we could still get the airspace it needed to make it work. We'll put some polyfill in there and do what we can just to make it as good as we possibly can. We designed that, built it here, and just needs to go back and get bedlines. So you can take a look at the wiring here. This thing has got everything, switches after switches after switches.
Fog lights, high beams, front camera, rock lights, rear camera, rear lights. Maybe this is a rear camera, I apologize. Compressor, amp step switches, because at the time he didn't have doors on it. We didn't have pin switches to run the amp steps on there, so we had installed our own switches, but there's actually an override because he might think his old man might leave the switch down. So we actually have an override to power the passenger switch as well. So via air compressor, rear locker, front locker.
It's a lot. His dad's 80 years old.
I believe just turned 80.
Just turned 80. Yeah. And they've been working on a super sweet 1959 Ford truck, father-son project, kind of their last one together. And they got it pretty far, like it's in primer, they've got all undercoated, chassis all done, and I think the dad has finally said, son, we gotta get this done. Mike's sending it, did I tell you that? Mike's sending that truck here.
He actually told me today.
Did he tell you
that?
that?
When he called me. He, just in case you didn't know, he's like, you're gonna see this one pretty soon. I've actually seen pictures of it. They showed me the frame probably maybe a few months back, the body, everything off of it, and him and his dad putting it together. Like, it's cool.
It is really cool. Even as much as he's been involved, which you wouldn't think would always be like the ideal situation, having a customer involved, but I actually kind of like it. It's helpful. And I think it's made the process better because sometimes when the customer isn't involved, they're not checking in, they're not asking, they don't understand really how much work is actually going into it. He's been very understanding. He goes, I know I've asked for a lot, and I know it takes a lot to get it done. And even though it's gone far exceeded what he initially thought he was going to do. He's very happy with the quality and the product. This thing is going to be like a tank. It's awesome. It's got so many cool things we've done to it. We've modified it pretty heavily, but hey, thanks for helping us out on this. Roman has been here a few years. He's dedicated. He's not afraid to push back if he doesn't feel like something's right. That I know from experience. He's not that bad. No, he's invested and he wants the outcome for the customer and everything to be the very best, right? It helps manage our assembly department. Everything goes together. This is the guy that's making it happen and getting it done. So very cool. I know he's excited. We're all excited to turn the key. We've actually started it before.
Yeah.
It's so tight. We couldn't wait till the last second to see if there was something wrong.
Other than pulling the body back off, that the engine shoehorned in there, it's not going to come back out easily for sure. We did find a few things out, I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty sure the flywheels hitting on the bell housing, and we had to clearance a couple things on the back.
That's true, because we have a transmission that's not normally made up to this motor, and it was kind of different. It's the Tremec 4050 or something?
4050, yeah.
4050, and then the Hero
3 transfer case, dual disc, I believe.
dual disc clutch. We got two companies for our front runner system because we just could not make one work. But these guys figured out, made it work, so we're really close. Thanks, dude. Killing it. All right, we'll see you. We're gonna go check out the body shop. Let's look at some projects. What's up, guys? This is Gage right here. Like, I got my microphone. Look.
What's up, dude? Oh, wow.
All right. Does it look weird to you?
It looks a little strange.
Looks
like a bug or something.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Anyways, I'm getting through it. So I was talking to Roman, and I said to introduce himself with his best sexy voice. Do you have one?
What's up?
There. All right. I think I got a little excited hearing that one. All right, I will make Luis do it. All right, so we have a pretty cool truck here, 1985. I almost called it a Ford, to be honest with you.
Don't do that.
I won't do that. That'll hurt some feelings. A 1985 Chevrolet C10 still, right? It's kind of the last of the C10s right here. This is it. There's not much left that's original. This thing's been around the block. We are literally doing a ton of stuff to it. A lot of this engine compartment and everything has completely been redone. These guys are just kind of blocking everything out. It's already been in first prime, getting it ready so we can go into second prime, which we're hoping on Monday that's going to happen, right?
Yes, yes.
No, that's hell no, it's not happening. Luis, tell me what you're doing here.
Like you said, we're in first prime. We're just blocking it out.
Gosh, all right.
That's what happens when you actually work. You get dusty.
All right, tell us what you're
All
doing.
right, first prime. We're blocking out the primer. We're using 120 grit, and then we're gonna clean up all the reveals. We're gonna touch up the details, block out the rest of the panel.
And really just kind of getting this little inside compartment done so you can get the hood back on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's what you're shooting for?
Uh-huh.
Get the hood back on it. Gage is kind of working that line on the side right now because the line is king on this thing. Luis thinks, and I'm just messing with you. I'm okay to get dirty. All right, so let me show you over here. It's kind of cool. This line right here on this truck usually is so rolled over that it's almost non-existent. But these guys are literally perfecting this thing. Now we'll soften it just a little bit so the paint and everything sits on it pretty good. But this is going to be super nice, laser straight. Oftentimes a lot of these trucks, you'll see them, they'll come here and then they'll start to dip back down. Right, so these guys made the modifications to keep it straight. This usually doesn't look like this. It's pretty much flat. Might have like a 1/4 inch lip, bumped it out so we could tie it in with the back and have a little bit more body fender lip on this thing and look just a little bit beefier back here so it doesn't look so boring. I always have felt that trying to body work and paint and come up with a look for a square body is just trying to like making a piece of paper look good. Right, it's kind of hard. There's not a lot to these things. They don't have a lot of movement to the body panels and design. So we're trying to make sure that this line here and this line here, that those are accentuated, they're defined, and that we're just not rolling past those things with the block. Another little thing we've talked about before is right here. It's tough to see, but normally this right here would actually come up to about right here. And then it looks like the bumper's just like hanging and floating on it. It doesn't really look that good. So we actually slice this thing. We bought the back of it down. So when it lays frame, it doesn't look like it's coming up. It also is more substantial to actually hold the bumper. Inside here, these are not factory squares. This truck is known to be called the square body, which is kind of cool. So we wanted to kind of take and repeat some squares. And then the squares kind of get larger, if you see that. When you see it all painted, all that stuff's gonna start to make sense. There's a GSI chassis under here. It was all powder coated black at one time. As you can see, it needs some love. We've done a lot of modifications. A couple more little things to do. From here, it's gonna go and it's gonna get powder coated. This truck's called Red Velvet, and it's a red truck, red interior. Guess what color the chassis is gonna be? Black. No, actually, no, I'm joking. It's gonna be a really soft, subtle, red. It's going to match the leather perfectly. The sheen is going to be a matte finish. It literally is going to have that velvety feel touch underneath the engine compartment, inside the interior, underneath the chassis. It will feel like velvet, very soft. We're actually putting a wood bed in this. That wood bed, I don't even know what color we're going to do. Red bed? I don't know. Stay tuned. This guy's going to have the sickest square body out there. It's going to be awesome. All right, so we got these doors here. This is where you hide all the things that you don't want to be seen. Right? Whoop. We've got some cool little hinges here. If you check these out, these are going to be for sale on the website, but this is a hinge and a mount that lets you put these little doors in here. You've got this little thing right here that locks it down in there and holds it. But I think we're gonna have the supercharger, overflow tank, radiator, AC lines and stuff. Yeah, so a lot of that stuff's hidden, so we need to be able to have access to some stuff. We wanted to make sure that we could have a lot of access, not just a cap, but if we need to get down inside there and check something out, it's cool. So we got one over there, one over here. They're blocking all this stuff out to make sure that when it gets all painted, everything looks nice and attractive. Also provides a little bit of contour and shape and design here. How are these blocks holding up?
Blocks work great.
Yeah? Are these the
Linear blocks.
linear blocks? And it's cut so that it has just a tiny little bit of flex to it. You wouldn't use it here because you want it to be super flat. But when there's a little tiny bit of contour, as you can see, this to the eye, you're not gonna pick up any kind of undulation in the surface. You wanna make sure that your block can kind of conform to it and also stay flat when you need it to stay flat. So these linear blocks work pretty good. So there's 4 guys back here that do body work. I'm super proud and feel blessed that we actually have these guys here. So let's go talk to these guys. This is Mike, and then we got this guy over here.
Mike,
Is
number
Mike.
2.
This is the M&M group over here. These guys have a long history of bodywork. These guys are super amazing, super good at what they do, and they're just rocking this project right here. This is a 1955 Ford F100. This one is for a guy, I believe he lives in Virginia. I don't always, South Carolina maybe, Virginia. And the reason why I mix things up is because I'm dealing with like 50 customers at any given time. And so oftentimes I forget where they live. They're getting the cab done, and what are you blocking out here?
The front balance.
Okay, the front balance. So basically, we'll skim coat it and sand it all off. That's essentially what you'll see on the ground. Is it's easier to put more on and sand it off than it is to keep putting a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and then just keep chasing it, right? So when you guys take a look and see all the primer and the bodywork and everything, it is an ultra thin skim coat. You may end up with a 1/16 of an inch when it's all said and done. We'll come over here. So keep in mind, these guys are in the middle of it and they will be perfecting everything. This is where that piece goes right here. Obviously, nobody wants to be working on their knees right here. And so he's pulled it out so that he can get it all sanded. He'll bring it back in. He'll start fine tuning all these little edges. And then he's been working on trying to get all these little gaps in alignment. The hoods on these are horrendous to line up. And so there's a lot of cutting, slicing, dicing, and getting them to even get close before we start to mud them. So I bet these guys are, a week away from primer? 2 weeks. I don't know why. I always think a week, and then they always tell me 2, and it's usually 2. I always want it in a week. You know what never happens? I'll tell you what never happens. Hey, when do you think this will be done? 2 weeks, and it's done in 2 days. And that never happens. They always protect themselves, under promise and over deliver. They're good at that. I'm probably not as good at it as they are. But probably a couple weeks, this thing will be all in primer. We'll block it out one more time real quickly, and then it'll be in final primer. We're gonna start painting it. I'm not even sure I remember what color we're doing on this. Do you guys know? Reddish? I think it is kind of a coppery red. I don't remember. Maybe we should ask him. This guy manages a big MMA place on the East Coast, so I definitely don't want to paint it the wrong color, right? All right. He's actually super cool. His name's Lamont. Super nice guy, super humble, but I'm pretty sure that's a coppery color. Lately, there's been a lot of coppery red colors flowing through the shop. Greens, reds. I wonder if it's just people see things and it, trends, whatever. So, all right, guys. Thank you. All right, think skinny. All right, let's go. Couple cool little things we'll talk about right here. This is a Godzilla motor kit we're putting in and building that will go in a 73, 79 two-wheel drive truck. There'll be a kit. Should have this ready to go here in the next couple of weeks. We're just doing some final testing on it. Behind me is kind of the final test fitment of sheet metal. We're test fitting the sheet metal and mounts and everything to make sure that our four-wheel drive chassis and everything fit perfectly. So we've been kind of wrapping these things up. This is a new product we're bringing to market. You guys are familiar with our two-wheel drive chassis. This is our four-wheel drive chassis, and we want to make sure that everything fits. So a lot of it's been stripped off and removed so that we can get to things easier, to double check all of our alignment, to make sure the front bumper mounts and rear bumper mounts, all that stuff's been configured. When that's all said and done, then we'll pull all this off. This is a cool truck. This is a 1971 Ford. This one's actually my truck here. It's a service body, has a camper that went on it. We just kind of finished up a few little things. If you kind of take a look, stay tuned, but we got a super cool door panel interior kits for 6772 that you're going to be able to purchase. And so we've been doing some test fitting, and we'll probably have a video out on that soon. Each generation of truck, Ford and Chevy, we're finishing up the Ford over the next couple months, but next week we're going to launch the 6772, and then we're going to do the 7379, full kits, new seats, headliner, everything. You'll be able to get it all. This is another cool product that's coming to market in the next couple weeks. Our front and back half kits. We'll do a video on this soon where we show you how we're taking our chassis product and implementing it into a front and back half kit so the guy at home can actually do his own swap kit. You don't have to take anything out. You just literally chop the frame off, install it, you're done. A lot of the other kits that are out there, you got to do a tremendous amount of work. They're hard to install. So we've made this one super easy. You're not going to mess up the geometry. You're just going to install it. But we got a video coming out on this soon, and we'll show this one all cleaned up because we're about ready to pull this off and powder coat it. So, man, my throat is tickling. I've been talking too much. But anyways, we're going to end right here. I've got some other things I got to do. We'll catch you guys up more on some of this other stuff another time. Appreciate you following along with us. Hopefully you got to see some cool stuff, meet some of the guys here at the shop. For me, I like building cool stuff. I like solving problems. I like creating products that solve problems. And so that's a lot of the stuff that we do here. Customer focus, what you guys might need, give you the confidence that you need to actually do this at your own garage, right? Be sure to subscribe, follow along with us if you will. Go ahead and make some comments, and if you have any more questions, we'll try to answer it. I try to go on and look at them here and there. And there's always that one guy that's super happy. He was the very first commenter, right? We'll come back with more videos. Thanks for watching. And until next time, have a good time with your own stuff, and we're out. Thanks.